Good morning. Hi, everyone. Cheers. Let's fix my camera. Wow. So I've got an echo on my stream. No, not roll call yet. I need to work out why. So I've got an echo on my stream. No, not roll call yet. I need to work out why. So I've got an echo on my stream. No, not roll call yet. Okay, I found it. Okay, we're good. No, I think we're right now. So YouTube have moved over to their new live stream dashboard. They forced everyone over to it, and it's yeah, it's terrible. It shows you a preview of the stream as it's going automatically. So it's playing my stream for me. So yeah, anyway, I think we're good now. So hi everyone. Yes, now we'll do a roll call. Let's go quickly back and say hi to everyone. So good morning, Azzy. Good morning, James, Michael, Mr. Andy Calloway, Michael Bernhardt's here. Did you get your daughter to sleep? I hope so. Trying to get your daughter to sleep. Oh, well, hopefully that goes okay. Hey, Jerry. Good morning. Okay, I didn't know what that was. Hey, Paul. Good morning. Hey, Helmet. Oh, that's my printer. Just ignore it. Hey, Bolly. Hey, Hojad. And Crazy Roops, good morning. Oh, God, this text is getting really small. Hello, Mr. Dave Darko. Are you back? How was Supercon? Hello, Graham. Local Horst, good morning. And Marco, wow, I'm losing track. And Dustin, good morning, Dustin. Hey, Michael Stevens. Hey, Nelson. 5:30 in the afternoon yesterday. Hey, Joe. Hey, Tony. Hey, mate, how are you? Haven't seen you for a while. Hey, Mike, good morning. G'day, Adam. Hey, John Jones. And my sister's... Oh, that's right. I forgot you were visiting afterwards. Awesome. Was Supercon good? It looked really good on Twitter. I was following it a bit on Twitter and looked pretty amazing. Some great talks. Wow. Really need my coffee this morning. Was super boring. Really? It's not good to hear. Okay. You have to tell me about it later, unless you want to talk about it in here. Super boring, that doesn't sound good. No one ever goes there, not many people. Okay, I thought it was a pretty decent sized event. Oh, you mean not many people from overseas? Hey, Christian. Yeah, bummer, okay. I mean, obviously a lot of people in the States would go, but... Okay, I just thought it was a much bigger event than that. No, I don't think Dave's joking, Dustin. To every Dutch person here, Sunday morning, 9 to 12 people. I go to Bright Day. Don't know what Bright Day is, but... Okay, Dave is kidding. Okay, well, there you go. Too early in the morning for me still. Even 7:30 in the morning, still too early. So let's just jump into it, shall we? So Bornact on Twitter guessed what it was. Guess what they were. And for those that don't know, these are Sorry, lighting's terrible in here. Still have to work all that out. These are what are called, well, I believe they're called xylo bands. I'm not the first person to show these on Twitter or anywhere, but these are bands that get used in concerts. And I find them quite intriguing, and I'm going to open one up and have a look. So these are 4 bands. So Yaz, Orly, Flynn and I got one each when we went to concert the other week. And I had never seen them before, and they're pretty clever in what they do. So before I jump into that, I'm going to switch over to here so you can all know what they are. So these are called, they're xylo bands. I believe these are the xylo bands ones. And if you can see here in this picture, everyone in the audience is wearing one. So they hand them out for free in concerts, and then they control them. So you wear them on your wrist, and they control them during the concert for you. So they're multicolour, they're RGB. Right, well, so that's the question, Andy. I don't know. So there are different types, and I want to find out what mine is. And they use a proprietary protocol. And so what I found was amazing, though, was, hey, John, good morning. Hey, Ray, if I've missed anyone. Hey, J-Man. Hello, Adam. No, they're not using Laura. Laura's for long distance, low power, long distance. They're using either RFID or Wi-Fi or something similar. But what's amazing about them is that they're almost individually addressable, in that not everyone's wristband was doing the same thing. So you think, okay, super easy, everyone's wristband goes purple, everyone's wristband goes yellow. No, they were doing different patterns, and even mine was doing something different to Orly's or Flynn's. And it's not because there was a propagation delay. They were actually controlling them, not individually, but there would have been at least 3 or 4 different patterns that are going on. And, obviously people were getting them handed out randomly, so you didn't know what you got. But it was pretty amazing. So I want to open one up and find out a little bit more about them. What's interesting, though, is that all the ones that you can see here and that have been shown everywhere, the lights are in the bands. You see that? But these ones aren't. On these ones, the lights are in the top. And the band itself doesn't light up, but the top does. Dave Jones did a teardown of these a while ago, or maybe it was... Yeah, Big Clive did one. It's different to what I've got, though. That's the thing. The one that Big Clive showed was like these ones, where the bands were lit up. See if I can get any other pictures. So he's had a white band, and they light up, where the LEDs were in the band. Like these. But the ones I've got are different. Now, they could just be a newer generation of them. I don't know. See, these all have... they have the little gadget, and then they have this fabric-y type of band, and the LEDs are in the band. But my one, the LEDs are not in the band. Right? It's all just in here. Right? This is it. This is what lights up. And you get a little bit of glow happening from the band, but it's all inside here. So this is called a Pixmob. So it's not a xylo band, it doesn't look like. Pixmob, it's a different brand. It's a different product. Made in China, of course. I don't know if can everyone see that? I'm trying to get the lighting right. So that's what I find interesting. So I want to pull one of these apart, because they're very different. The way they screw there's no screwing together. The electronics is very different. They've only got 2 RGB LEDs inside. So we're going to do a pull apart of one of these. I definitely want to see inside it, but more importantly, let me just switch back. IR controlled with big emitters in the roof to command them so they behave same in one area. Well, no, it wasn't area based. Hey Rob, because as I said, let me just go back to here for a second. So what mine was doing on my wrist was totally different to what Flynn's was doing, and he was sitting right next to me. I believe that they must have. Well, I'm hoping. Well, I don't know, right? But maybe there's a dip switch or something inside them that you can set them to be type A, B, or C, for instance, and then they receive whatever the setting is. Now, there's a specifically for the Xylo band, well, the Xylo brand ones. Let me just go back to here. I wanted to show you that there's actually a forum of people trying to reverse engineer the protocol, because the protocol is proprietary, and there's a lot of people trying to work out what it is. And there's even this guy here has put together a shield, what's called a Xylo shield, which also has some DMX stuff on it, which doesn't really matter. But the DMX stuff aside, he's got a shield for the Arduino, and he's written a library, which is here, which he's trying to be able to control one of the other type, the type that Big Clive did, based off Arduino and off his shield, based on what the people on this forum are trying to reverse engineer. So, I mean, there's not been a lot of action on here. I mean, October 8th, 2019, someone wrote something. But yeah, like, it doesn't seem to be a lot of movement on that. So I'm curious to see what mine are. I'd love to know if they could be controlled. Did I miss anyone saying good morning? Hello. Hey, Mike. Good morning. Chair Hesma. Hello. And hey, Marius. If I've missed anyone, sorry. Michael, hello. Try taking that through airport security. Hey, Robin. Oh, you made it to a stream. Awesome. They might use lower byte of address to vary the effect in one area. Look, yeah, I don't know how they do it, right? Obviously, again, it's a proprietary protocol for the Xylo band. Hey, Ben. Hey, Philip. Yeah, I don't know if these are using 858 megahertz radio. So the one that Clive pulled apart, he said that his was Wi-Fi, but I don't believe it was. There was definitely no antenna on there. There was no Wi-Fi on there. So I'm curious to see what's inside mine. So I think we should just start pulling it apart. Hey, DC Allen, good morning. I'm just going to move my chat over so I can see it. Go back to the camera, because it's a bit far away from me when I'm underneath the camera. So let's just pull one apart, shall we? I think we shall. Okay. So, still drinking my coffee. Heck, if Bitlooney can get suspicious looking pack. Yeah, how did he get his bag? I want to know how. Did everyone? Actually, not everyone would have seen it. So on Bitlooney's Patreon, he showed a picture of all the stuff he was packing into his bag. I don't know if he showed that publicly or not. Hey, Cassio. And I thought to myself, how is he going to get his rucksack, his backpack, into America? Like, there's just no way. Yeah, anyway. So I believe these just unclip, but I don't want to break it, so I want to be really careful in getting it apart. I need to get I've got over here a thin screwdriver. So they're not screws on the back. They're much more disposable. And these are designed to be disposable. So obviously you've got battery slots here to get batteries in. So I might just push the batteries out. And they just take, oh, CR 1632s. Interesting. So there's two 3-volt batteries in here. And obviously they needed to last the night. And they are disposable, right? Big mega sticker does wonders. What? It was public on YouTube, what he wrote? Okay, what he did? Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if he... I saw it on Patreon, but I don't know if he did it publicly, so... I'm assuming I can unclip it from here, because these look like clips. But they are really super tight, so maybe they're not. I can't get... Maybe I can. Wow. They clip on really tight. I can't even get the screwdriver in. Here we go. No. You can see there's a little PCB in there. A spudger. I don't have a spudger. Not really. Nothing thin enough. I have a sharp knife, but I really don't want to cut my fingers off. I wonder if they've been glued in place. They wouldn't do that, would they? That'd be too much effort. I mean, the fact is they're not designed to be opened, right? Like the batteries slot in from the side. So it's quite possible that these have actually been glued. Because that's not shifting at all. I really don't want to have to pull this, like break it. I mean, I can. It's not like they do anything anymore, right? Every signal has its own light program and given out randomly to people, I bet. It definitely looked random. Try hammer. Hey John, I don't want to hammer it. Look, if I'm going to break it, I'll break it because they can't really be used for anything otherwise. And I just want to get the PCB out. Wow, the whole back of the PCB is battery pads. That's really interesting. So I just cut it off and get it out. I was really hoping I could leave it intact, but I think they definitely look like they're glued in place or something. If I keep doing this, it's going to break it. Okay, cutting it. Take it apart. Here we go. Whatever. I wonder if I can get the PCB out. If I cut this end, cut that off. Maybe I can slide. There we go. Slide the PCB out. It might be too tall. Wow, there's a big chip in. Is that a chip? No. Okay, these are IR. That's a big IR sensor. Okay, cutting it. Hey Bonnet, you were right. It's a Xylo band, but it's not. It's a different brand one. It's called a Mobpix. So straight out of China. Bit different to the one that Big Clive worked on, showed on his channel. Wow. I'm not even doing this on camera. Sorry guys. I didn't realise I was off camera. Lots of Big Clive fans. Yes, of course. It goes without saying, right? There we go. Pop, pop. There we go. See, that's very different to the one that the Big Clive showed. Very, very different. Apart from the fact that it's a different brand, obviously. Electronics wise, so it's definitely IR, as we can see. We need to find out what's on that chip. It's going to be a microcontroller of some description. We've got, looks like it's going to be some form of regulator, and obviously a diode for protection. So let's find out what this chip is. Some AVR, Tiny 85, it could be a Tiny 85. I need to put it under the microscope to find out. So it's going to switch cameras. You're not really going to get to see much from this. Get to see me looking under a microscope with my messy desk. Hopefully you can still hear me okay from over here. I can't see the chat right now. Now have they, oh, they've scrubbed off the chip. Of course they have. Designed with love in Montreal. Made in China. It's a Palm V1.7. That's what's on the board. But the chip is completely scraped off. It's acetoned off. Why would they do that? So the SOT 23 is a, someone can look this up if I can get the number, the angle. It's a 24CO2S, 24CO2S or 24CO25, one of the two, and it's an SO5 at the end. So it doesn't look like it's a regulator. which I'm surprised, because you don't really need a transistor on here. I actually think it is a regulator because it's got decoupling on the outside of it, on the output. I think that's a regulator. Well, there you go. What a bummer. So it's completely scraped off. I don't understand why people do that. Is the O an O or a 0 or an O? I think it was a 0. It's a 0. 24C0 to S. I'm pretty sure that's an S, not a 5. 24C0 to S. Remove the chip and look at the bottom. I could remove the chip and look at the bottom. Yeah? I could do that. Pick a 12 pin out a bit. Yeah, it's going to be a cheap micro of some description, right? Sorry, my chat's moved. I'm looking over here now. 24CO2, that's the one. Memory, what? 24 seems to be 24C seems to be an EEPROM. No, it's not. It's not an EEPROM. You think it's an EEPROM? So you reckon they've coded in what the address is for each band? I don't think they'd go to that effort, would they? No. 2-wire serial EEPROM. Really? Does someone have a link for it? To save me having to look it up? So I was really hoping that I could work out how to reverse engineer this. I can take the chip off and look underneath, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to find anything on there. Nothing that's going to be of super relevance to giving away what it is. Give it power, turn the light off and see what it does, and I bet it'll run its program. No, so these things are designed, okay, so, well, I can't specifically talk for this one. Actually, so we left just before the very end of the concert because it was, the kids were done, right? It was a super late night for them. But, so these are designed at the end of the concert, they all get given a signal to shut down. And once they're shut down, apparently that's it, they're over. They don't do anything anymore. So I don't believe putting power on this is going to make any difference. So, yeah. Let's just go back to the camera. Give you guys more of a look. There's really not a lot to see, unfortunately, of it. As I said, let's see if I can get some focus. So, yeah, it's... I mean, I could probably beep it out and trace it all backwards. I mean, they're 50-50, right? WS2812B adjustable RGB LEDs. So, I could easily swap out this micro, whatever it is, and put maybe a tiny 85 or something on there, assuming that the pins are going to be compatible, and I can get it, to do something, right? So I could definitely trace it all backwards, and maybe that's what I'll do. I'll spend some time, I'll add it to my list of things I never get to, right? But spend some time reverse engineering a schematic out of this to see if I can at least find out how it's all connected up and try to identify what the chip could be just based on the pinout. But at the end of the day, it's using some type of proprietary protocol. They all do. And I'd really love to know what that is. Focus. Hocus pocus focus. There we go. Okay, what did I miss in the chat? Some have accelerometer to detect motion as part of its features. Really, Rob? I mean, the whole... I mean, maybe they do, I don't know, but the whole idea with these is they're supposed to be really, really cheap to make, completely disposable. I mean, they handed out... I don't know how many people were at each concert. There would have been at least, 10 10 to 20,000 people each night at the concert. So they're giving out 100,000 of them per state. I think there was 3-4 concerts in Melbourne and whatever. Like, they'd be giving out so many of them. I doubt they'd spend the money on accelerometer, at least on these ones anyway. Maybe for a Coldplay concert, possibly. I think I think Coldplay were part of the original people that designed them for their own concerts, I think. If it's an EEPROM, dump it before the AT Tiny overwrites. Yeah, I'd pull it apart. I'd pull the EEPROM off. If it's an EEPROM, I'd pull it off first. They're not WS2812s? Are you sure? I mean, they're 6-pin, not 4-pin. Sorry, let me just go back. There. I know they're 6-pin, but are you sure they're not? There's not enough pins to drive individual RGB on this. There's not enough pins to have an EEPROM connected, even if it's a 2-wire, to have the IR connected and an RGB left over for the LEDs. I don't believe they'd have to be using addressable. 100%. I'd be very surprised if they're not using addressable. It would just make no sense. So who said they're not? As he said, why would you think they're not using addressable? So addressable comes with 6-pin as well as 4-pin. The originals were 6-pin. So yeah, don't look at the number of pins on the LEDs to decide whether it's addressable or not, because that's a red herring. Red herring. Here's another topic. Did you hear about ESP32 issues affecting all? Are you talking about the security vulnerabilities, Marco? Then yes, I did. It's going to happen. It's going to happen with anything. Big Clive would have a huge A3 printout. There's not a big die present in the LEDs. How could you see that? Oh, that's a really good point, Azzy. Maybe you're right. Hang on. I didn't really look at them. Let me go back under the microscope, actually. I'm going to have a look under the microscope again. I didn't even look at the package of those. Okay, Azzy is correct, or whoever started that. Looks like they are not addressable. I was so focused on what the chip was. Let me just get some APA. Not APA, some IPA, and let me get a cotton bud. I'm going to see if I can clean off the top of this chip. Hold on 1 second, folks. See, how's that for terrible observation for me? Here's me telling everyone that don't be fooled by the chip, by the LEDs, but clearly I didn't even look inside them, did I? What a doofus I am. So, yeah, there's no chip in them. Okay, I'm just getting a bit of IPA. I just want to see if I can clean off. So not clean it, but sometimes if you stick some IPA on the top of a chip it's not been sanded, sometimes you can just see some leftover etching, but no. Bummer. Okay, nah. Nothing. That's a shame. Yeah, I meant IPA. Google tearing down of NP201 LED wristband. There's a schematic for it. Right, but there's all different types. So, Chris, all the ones I found online are the... now, there's an Apple app to control PixMob. I'm not sure if it works with your one. Ooh, is there? Let me grab my phone. You think there's an app for it, is there? PixMob. Looking now. PixMob Spark. Get. Okay. Install. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. 1 second. I haven't signed in for a while. Won't let me use Touch ID. Okay. Okay, it's just installing now. The make a light up ball. PixMob. Let's have a look at PixMob. PixMob. I didn't even know about PixMob until I opened this wristband. PixMob LED wristbands for enhanced crowd experience. So there's obviously different brands of these things, which I was not aware of. Whoa, doom, doom, doom. What's the full reel? No, thank you. New portable transmitter. Okay. Yeah, cookies, whatever. Products. Let's look at products. Yeah, here we go. There's a ball. So the wristband. I want to see what the LED ball is. Hey, James. Oh, that looks pretty cool. Oh, just huge balls. Okay, right. Show me the pictures. Okay, yeah, no, that's not exciting. I thought there'd be smaller things that you could hold. Wow, that must be big business. Or wristband times 2. A single day crowd favorite. 2 bright RGB LEDs. Yeah, so that's what. It's definitely the one I've got. Looks the same as yours, except version 1.6 rather than 1.7. Interesting. Okay, I'll have to. Now that I know what it is, I need to do some more research. So the question is, how do I mean, this battery is obviously flat. So here's the app on here. Let me just zoom out. This is obviously trying to... Oh, that's picking up my microphone right now. It's not letting me... Right, controls are... So this is just using... Right. The fact is, this is not actually sending anything. Or if it is sending anything, it's... These aren't receiving anything right now, and it's probably because the batteries are flat. So I don't think I've got any compatible batteries here. 1632s. Let me see if I've got any batteries. 1632s. I doubt it. It's a pretty odd number for me anyway. Nah. I have a stash of different coin cells, but I do not have any 1632s So I wonder if I can just power it. How will it emit IR? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't even know what this app's supposed to do. Interesting. Maybe this is supposed to talk to something else, which then talks to it. So, yeah, that was a red herring. Old ones had a link to reactivate it. I just got my finger caught in that box that I just closed. Oh. Just power the one you opened up with some bench power supply. Yeah, I can power it, but I don't think it's going to do anything. Do I have any? I can try powering it up. Give it 3 volts, but it's not. Yeah, you're not going to be able to see though because it's a bench supply's on the other side of the. It's on the other side of my desk. It's on this side, the side that you can't really see. Positive. I'm just gonna. I don't know what's gonna happen. Nothing's gonna happen, obviously. Okay, positive and negative. And 3 volts. I'll current limit it to 100 milliamps, just for now. Yeah, powered it up. It's not pulling any power at all, actually, which is interesting. Should be. Yeah. Should be doing something, shouldn't it? No, that's not pulling any power at all. If there's schematics online, I'll have a look more into it. You'll get what? What was that? I'm missing all the chat. Did you see that link I posted? No, Mike, I'm going back. Hang on. Sorry, a lot of chat's been going past. Mike posted a link. I did not. Hang on. Make you a moderator, Mike. You want to post it again? That way everyone should be able to see it, I think. Sorry, there's a lot of chat went past. Oh, Mike, you posted it in Discord live stream. No, I'm not in Discord right now. You can post it here though. Unless you need me, unless it's 1 second. Tear down. Alright, okay. So someone's already done a good tear down. Let's just go have a look now then. Let me open it up and we'll have a look. Ooh, camera. Terrible position. Okay, so here is a teardown. Hey, Christos. So 1.6, 1.6, yeah, they look the same. So, just if they worked out what it is, then it comes with 2 RGB LEDs, but no accelerometer, microcontroller, and a suspected EEPROM. Using the diode mode of the multimeter to tap the inputs. Okay. And there's a schematic. Let's see if we can make the schematic bigger. Here we go. So we get an MC81F4104. Really little microchip. Interesting. B2D and VSS pins might be wrong. Oops. Okay. So they're just multiplexing. No, okay, right. 2 batteries, a diode. Oh, they're fitting at 6 volts. Interesting. It's an I2C EEPROM. Okay. The question is, what's the protocol they're sending? You can always make your own wristband. They're saying they might be swapped. They don't know if they're swapped or not. But I didn't use a micro with onboard EEPROM. Wonder how bit the EEPROM is. What do you mean by bit? I mean, they probably did this by from a cost point of view. Or maybe they're getting all their micros pre-flashed. That would make a lot of sense, right? But they can't get them all pre-flashed if they need to put individual addresses inside the EEPROMs. That could make it much harder for them. So an external EEPROM would make a lot more sense. Four cells in total, 2 stacks of 2. No, it's just 2 cells. It's talking I2C to the EEPROM, sure, but it all comes down to what's on the micro, right? Sorry, just okay, so it's pretty cool. There's a lot more about them than I realized. But I want to know if... So it's suspected to be that the chip... further commented by the fact that the chip is an SO package. So above's 8-bit flash MCU lineup. So it's not an... Okay, interesting. I just assumed it was a micro chip because of the MC, but maybe it's not. Above.co.kr. Does anyone know who these guys are? Above? Anyone heard of them? Hey Sam D. Cool name. Sam D 21. Are you 21 years old? That'd be cool. Or 51. That'd be even better. Except you're old. You could compare the EEPROM contents. Yeah, I'd need to tap into it and read it out for sure. I've never heard of Above. Has anyone heard of Above? I mean, I still know very little about anything in this space. 8-bit MCU, 4K of flash ROM, 192 bytes of RAM. Major features: 12-bit ADC. Using an 810 core. And it's got no I2C, so how's it doing the... There must be bit banging the EEPROM if there's no... Hey Martend. Yeah, there must be bit banging it. Assuming it's this chip, I don't know. Just need to go back with an IR capture device. Right, need to go back, so spend another... How much was it? 400 and something... $500 for tickets. Look, I didn't even know... Excuse me, sorry about my nose. I didn't even know that they were handing those out. An IR capture device would have been quite interesting. Imagine how much radiation poisoning we're all getting, sitting there, them beaming out RF to everyone. 2.2 to 5.5 volt can't be it. They've got a diode on there, so it could be it, because I see no purpose for the diode other than potentially forward voltage drop. There's no other reason to have a diode, I don't believe. We should go back to that schematic. I mean, yeah. Is that schematic again? Where have they got the diode? Yeah, they've just got a diode here. They're just doing a They're just doing a voltage drop to get it down. So whatever the diode is, you know, if it's got a 0.7 drop, that takes it well within the voltage range of the chip. Next time I'll be prepared. I don't know if I'm going to take my kids to another concert. Wooden cameras have picked up IR, towers spewing invisible light. No, the cameras didn't pick up anything. It was quite interesting. And they were really responsive. So, yeah, it was pretty amazing. Like, I have to say, I was quite impressed by them and intrigued. And I spent a lot of time during the concert watching everyone's wristbands around me to see what they were doing. You know, the music was great. The entertainment was good, but I was much more intrigued by what the wristbands were doing. Well, there you go. Suspected emitter. Wow, look at those towers. That is full on. Source files for Kaika schematic can be found here. I want to know if anyone's done any if anyone's tried to do any reverse engineering of it, though. That's of the protocol. Yeah, not a lot of information about it. Who was the musician? We saw Shawn Mendes. Sorry, I had a mental blank then. So we went and saw Shawn Mendes. Look, he was a great entertainer. It was really good. Like, I enjoyed the concert, which is surprising because there's not really much up in music. Although I knew a lot of his songs because Yaz and the kids played a lot. So yeah, and as I mentioned, Flynn slept through most of it, which was pretty exciting. So, you know, it was $90 or $100 for him to sleep during the concert. Like, it was that loud, but he had both Ollie and Flynn had their headphones on to drop the voltage. I vote for a Tiny Pico wristband. Yeah, I think that I'm not sure a Tiny Pico wristband would be a good use of a. Wow, do you think I've got a Tiny Pico nearby? Hang on a second. Hello? Tiny Pico, anyone? Okay. Wow, I've actually been cleaning up my office. I've cleaned it up so well that I don't know where anything is anymore. As in, I put stuff away. I mean, you could almost get. It's the same size, right? I could probably squeeze a Tiny Pico into this. Maybe. Not with the antenna. So yeah, like, I wonder if this can be. I mean, I've killed this one. But I mean, I wouldn't want to make a competing product. That doesn't make any sense at all. But be interesting. Like, I wonder how. You know, there's a lot of stuff on this that wouldn't need to be there, right? It could almost be the Nano. Where's my Nano? Wow. Okay. This is the bag I was looking for. So, like, it could be a Nano, right? But with some RGB LEDs on there. Like, there's stacks of stuff you wouldn't need. Like, the serial could go, because you'd pre-program it. Anyway, look, yeah, whatever. Then it could be Bluetooth or Wi-Fi activated, but it would chew the batteries too quickly using an ESP32. That just doesn't make a lot of sense. Drop the dBs, drop the voltage. What? A $90 nap. Yes, it was just too late for him. Too late in the day, unfortunately, or in the night, I should say. And the fact that he could sleep through it was pretty amazing. I gotta tell you, because it was loud. It was really, really loud. The wristband looked like a Fitbit, so you put a Tiny Pico in there, would be a Fit Pico. Yeah, it looks like a Fitbit wristband, kind of. Yeah. I was hoping that I'd be able to see what the micro was, but like, it doesn't matter. There's a lot. It seems to be a lot more information on the internet about them than I thought they were. Like, I was spending my time looking at the Xylo band stuff, assuming it was a Xylo band, even though I knew that the design was different because of the wrist. The LEDs weren't in the wrist. but I assumed it was just a newer version of the Xylo band. I didn't realize that there was another brand. So, yeah, I'm going to keep looking into this and see if there's anyone trying to reverse engineer the protocol at all. But now that someone's already done a schematic for it, there's no point in me trying to work out the schematic, so that's fine. But I don't know what else I'd do with it then, otherwise. Without having the protocol, without having, a way of knowing how it gets spoken to, it's really not a lot I can do, unfortunately. I was hoping to have some way of reverse engineering it. Is Aaron in the chat? I don't know. Lots of people have been chatting. Zombie game. I believe you said drop the voltage when you talked about the headphones. Did I say drop the voltage instead of drop the volume? Sorry. Did you see this one guy had a look at on YouTube? Beat the bush. Hey Zulu Bailey. So a video of a guy running a custom code on an earlier version of that board. Okay, I'll do some more research. Now that I know what the board is, and I'll see if anyone's doing anything with it. I'm just curious. I'm also curious to know whether they send any kill codes to it at the end. If it gets disabled, like if it destroys itself at the end of the concert or not. Yeah. Because apparently that's a thing. If I've missed saying hi to anyone in chat, I apologise. I've been looking away for a lot of it. So that kind of ends that quicker than I was hoping. I was hoping there was going to be some more dissecting of this board, but it seems that it's already been done, which is good and bad, because it leaves me with not much else to do with it here. If it had a kill code, you could really be really mean at a concert. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Clive mentioned on his ones that they've got an end of concert message. It's not a kill code. It doesn't destroy itself. Just that it puts itself into shutdown. Could you desolder the memory chip and connect it and read it? The EEPROM, assuming it's an EEPROM, everyone thinks it is. I mean, I guess I could if I knew what it was, but I'm not sure what that's really going to tell me. Like, it's just going to have an ID, right? Replace the micro with a PIC and program it yourself. Well, I could. I mean, I could easily replace... So let me just go back to here. Wrong one. I mean, I could easily replace the chip with something that's pin compatible and program it to do stuff, no problem. But that's kind of defeats the purpose. Like, I don't want to do it to all of them. Like, it'd be good if I could, give the kids back the wristbands and I could, program it to do something. But it just doesn't make a lot of sense to individually do that to each board and then have to roll my own receiver and potentially transmitter stuff. I mean, it sounds like a fun project, but it's not like I don't have a million other things to do right now on my list. It would definitely go very low in my priority. Having a Amazfit Blip. It's a pretty good wristband watch. Only needs to be charged once a month. Communications by Bluetooth. Has a simple display with basic app and functions. Hey Martend, yeah, I mean, that's very similar to what the kids bands are. The kids ones are. I think I had one. Hang on. I don't know if I've still got it here. 1 second. Okay, I don't know where I put it. Yeah, so my kids have got the Garmin. They're like a little Fitbit type thing, but they're for kids. They're a Garmin brand one. Hey Alan, good morning. And all is one died, and I've got it. I meant to pull it apart and have a look inside. Again, it's got one of those really nice screens, OLED screens, and or IPS, whatever they are, Bluetooth and all sorts of stuff. So it's got some type of NRF chip inside it. But you can buy them on AliExpress for like so cheap now. It's crazy. Why not message, picks them up and ask for technical info since you find them so interesting. I doubt very much they'll they'll provide me back any technical info about their protocols and stuff. I could definitely I could definitely reach out to them and ask them, but I doubt very much they're going to supply that type of stuff. Like, it's all their proprietary technology, right? I'm sure they've invested a lot of time and effort into designing their things. So, but yeah, might be worth doing. Hey, Electronics. Yeah, okay. So, would MQTT be a good protocol to work with? With the bands? Not really. You need a, I don't know what you'd need. Like, yeah, you need something to be able to talk MQTT on the microcontroller side. And these little micros don't have enough memory, wouldn't think. You'd want to keep it really simple. I guess the protocol is kind of irrelevant. China, Adam says China. What about China? I'm sure, these are made in China. I'm sure if I look on Ali or Alibaba, I'll be able to get some stuff like that. ESP now protocol. Yeah, but you don't want to run an ESP32 on there. Like, it would chew the battery in like, it wouldn't last a concert, right? You'd be out of batteries in about 35 minutes, probably. Make a very quick concert. Try using it. Do you have one of those small RGB remotes? I do, but I'm pretty sure that's not what they're going to be. But I don't have any. I doubt very much that would work. And you'd be giving away ESPs. Adam's Wi-Fi crashed. Yeah, ESP32s are too expensive. Like, the whole point of these things, that they'd have to make these for, cents each, you know what I mean? Like 10 cents, 20 cents or so. Is my camera going in out of focus? Wow. Like, yeah, the cost to produce these would have to be so small for the quantities that they do, for the fact that they give them away. Well, they get paid for, like, it'd be part of the ticket price, right? So yeah, I guess they're not being given away, but they still need to be super cheap. Like, that whole board would be cheaper to make than you could buy the cheapest ESP32 chip just on its own. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not wouldn't be a smart way to go. I wouldn't think. Maybe they used the obscure super cheap MCU Dave Jones showed some months ago. I don't know. Everything's pointing at being one of these other chips that they mention. When you're buying them in scales of millions, then you're getting them pretty cheap anyway. The paddock. Yeah, I wouldn't think so. I think that's fairly new, and these boards have been out for months, years, you know what I mean? Well before that chip was around. The paddock. And I think it's been confirmed, as like it says here, that the previous model of this board was using this other above chip just here. This one here. So it's expected that the newer one's using the newer version of that chip, which would make sense if they've already got all their firmware and everything written for it. Yeah, that little chip was really cheap, but I think, yeah, I don't necessarily think it's using that. I wouldn't think so. So what shall we move on to then, folks? Because that kind of killed off my exploration of that. That ended up being way too easy to identify what it is. And there's already stacks of information out online for it. Oh, one thing I can show you is, it's kind of exciting, kind of not. So I did solve, from last week, I did solve this thermocouple thing, and it was the driver I was using. So the fact that it was mixing software bit banging with the hardware SPI was killing it. As soon as I moved to the Adafruit driver, it was working fine. So both on hardware TFT and hardware readings of the thermocouple. Mailbag. I could do a mailbag. I've got stacks of mail. But what I did want to show you, which is maybe not interesting. It's kind of exciting, but it's also not exciting, and I'll show you why. I'll tell you why in a moment. If I plug this in, it's going to do nothing because I need a REPL to it. Hold on one moment. Everyone's favorite segment, mailbag. Terminal. Import test. So I have, can everyone see that? I'm assuming everyone can see that. So this is running MicroPython, and I have been rewriting my graph library that I've got in my Reflow master. Can I get closer? I've been rewriting my graph library in my Reflow master in MicroPython. Unfortunately though, the only libraries I can use at the moment with mainline MicroPython for the TFT is it's native MicroPython. It's not written in C, which means it's not fast, unfortunately. Definitely not fast enough for what I want or what I require, which is a little bit frustrating. Hey Ray, you're working on a thermocouple project as well? Cool. Hello live. What? Oh, hello Nicholas. So that's pretty cool. That's all that does right now. I'm just, as you can see, different fonts. It's drawing a graph. So I'm just working on my library. But what I can also show you is, let me just move this over to here. Import, this may or may not work. Oh, there we go. So this is just drawing stuff on the screen and reading the thermocouples. The font's a bit small, I know, so a bit hard to see. But if I breathe on one of these, so it's showing thermocouples and it's showing an average. So, they both say TC1, that's a bit silly, but the second one went up to 20 something degrees. So a bit hard to see with this writing. Maybe I should turn off. Unfortunately, I don't have. One second. I don't have a bigger font that I can show on this thing right now. But I'm going to just get rid of those boxes. Copy RMP, PyBoard. Okay, this should just have no, there we go. So single color, it now says TC2 on it. You might be able to see. So thermocouples are working. I've got them working in MicroPython. I've got a screen driver. It's just not fast, unfortunately. So at this point in time, it looks like I might still have to do my Reflow Master Pro code in Arduino land, which is a bit disappointing for me, unfortunately. But I'm holding out that maybe we can solve a faster driver. It would be good. You want to see the flying toaster screensaver? Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. Definitely with the MicroPython driver. But I mean, anyway, I'm still import. I'm going to keep working on the library for my graphs anyway. But you saw how slow that built right then. You know, it's definitely not fast enough. Here goes again. Just redraw it. So I need things much faster. I need like a proper C driver. But anyway, that's progressing, which is nice. Just chipping away at that slowly. And for those that aren't aware, that's using my Tiny Pico Nano underneath. Just in there, just for now, just on this test board. So I would really like to get this all running in MicroPython. But we'll see. I've got some people helping, maybe, on some driver stuff. Those with wings. It's toasters with wings. So there's that. Now, what else can I tell you? My part software is going really well. I have stock management now in it, and I'm very happy with the progress I'm making there. And for those that aren't aware, I rewrote it in Django, moved away from Flask. It's all in Django now. So I bit the bullet and got all that moved over. So at some point I will make a video showcasing how that's all working, because it's pretty cool. It's got a fair bit to go still, but making very good progress. Did you write from scratch? Yes, I've written my part system from scratch. It was written in Flask originally, which is Python based, Python framework, and then I rewrote it in Django, so I can use their authentication systems. Hey Ian, good morning. I just ported one of my Mega 1284 products to STM32. Amazed it compiled without too many mods, interrupts, a couple of libraries, etc. Still in Arduino land, great fun. Yeah, the STM chips are amazing. Which one did you use? The M3 and M4s are just, yeah, top notch. Really, really good. Must be a world of difference going from an AVR to an ARM in terms of performance and capabilities. So yeah, I'm surprised it transferred over that easily, especially with all the interrupts. Oh, right, so you had to mod the interrupts. And F103C8. Okay, I don't know which one that one is. There's so many different models. STM32s, it's pretty crazy. I do have lots of mail to open, but I really got a whole tub of mail to open. Most of it's not overly interesting, I have to say. It's it's not a huge tub, but there's easily 20 things in here. There is something that I do want to open, if I can find, that I probably should open. No. Very hard to tell what's what on here. That could be it, I think. Does it say how many? It's one of them. Connectors. And that one. Okay. So I might open these though, because these are something I've been waiting for. Oh, is that the one from the blue pill? The 103C8? I don't think... Yeah. Okay. Want to make sure I don't dox myself as usual, because I always do. I might... let's move out the way. I don't even know what I could cover this with. Okay. I'm going to open just these two packages. I'm not really looking at doing... Hey, Maya. I'm not really looking at doing a mailbag right now, but I will open these because this is something I've been waiting for. That's kind of important. It's been holding me up on something. So, if they are what they think they are what I think they are. Excellent. And these ones, I believe, are the other ones. Oh, no. Oh, interesting. Not what I thought they were. These are some TS 100 tips I bought. Some extra tips I bought. Okay, that's not what I thought they were. That's okay, but these are... Let's move my chat over. So I've been waiting for these. These are my RF cables that are supposed to be semi-rigid, so they're easier to work with. They're thinner. But what I did is I found these on Ali where they're already pre-cut on one end, as you can see. So maybe as you can see, let me get closer. If I can focus, they're shiny, so it might not focus very well. There we go. So as you can see here, the tip is, they've already been cut. Although I don't know how I'm going to get the, I was hoping they were going to leave a little bit more of the outer shield for the ground. That'll be, yeah, might be interesting. So yeah, I need these for my RF matching for my VNA. So I've got, these are all, see they're all different lengths. I've got long, I've got short. So the idea is that the tip, in this case, would have to somehow get attached to that pin just there. So it would go something like, that would get attached to that pin, and that would get attached to the ground like that. And somehow that would stay there without being ripped off. And I'd have this end connected to the VNA, or get a double adapter, although that's adding another one in series kind of will affect the RF. So I've been waiting for these to arrive to start playing with the VNA, because the ones that I did buy were no good. Hot glue. Yeah, I don't know about hot glue. So I was waiting for those, and these all turned up as well. This is going to be a bit hard to get on the camera. It's either going to be impossible to get on the camera. So these arrived. These are the kits of inductors and caps. And like, that's crazy that it comes in a folder like this. So let me open this one up. Should hold well enough with solder. Hopefully the shield will keep it there. Yes, hopefully. But I'm a bit worried about soldering on the tip onto that pitch where the S2 is. So these are the caps kit. Oh, interesting. They're in bags. Okay, that's nice. So they're in bags, and then the bags slot into here. So these are all RF caps. 0.4 picofarad plus or minus 0.1. And then obviously this is a bit harder to put under the under the camera, and it's gonna be pain to store. Now, how many bags does this come in? Do you have to use the stiff coax for RF analysis? No, you don't have to use stiff. Like, you want to... Doesn't really matter what you're using. Like, the less rigid, the easier it is to work with, from my understanding. So that's the Coralcraft folder, which is quite nice looking folder. Like, I can't even zoom out far enough. And inside, ooh, look at that. Chip inductors. Oh. Okay. So... Did that one just fall out? Maybe in transit? Maybe it did. That's a really big folder for one sheet. And what is this? Any idea? Oh, a magnifying glass. How cute. So how do you open it? Right, that way. So they give you a nice little magnifying glass to be able to identify the components, maybe. Let's get closer, see how good it is. Not bad. I mean, obviously, it won't focus very well. That's nice for those that don't have a microscope. That's a really big folder for not that many components. I guess you can buy more and add to them. So I now have all of my stuff I need for my RF matching of my boards. Well, to at least start learning how to RF match, because I still don't know how to RF match. So, yeah, that's pretty exciting. Again, something that's on my list to get to. We say loop. What are we talking about? You can reuse it to store your 87 mint Jordan cards. Yeah, no, I have not collected basketball cards in a long time. So, these are the extra tips I got for my... Oops. Wow. These are the tips I got from my iron. Got the D24. Which is like a chisel-y type tip, I guess. So for soldering bigger components or bigger pads. And I got, cut it in half, the BC2. So now I've got a very fine tip, and where's my, and a not so fine tip, and kind of like a chisel, whatever it's called. And I don't know, what is that? Is that like a conical, angled conical tip? Wouldn't even know what they're called. So now I've got 4 different tips for the TS100. Because I was finding the current tips that I've got a little bit too small. Like especially like for soldering on screw terminals and stuff like that. A loop is a magnifying glass. Is that what they're called? It's the first one I've owned. So that's pretty exciting, I guess. I'm not sure I'm ever going to need it or use it, but that's pretty cool. Appointment time. See you, Alan. Good luck at your appointment. Fun fact, someone stole my signed official Kobe Limited rookie card. Hey Ian, no way. Where'd they steal it from? They call it a tip, but as long as the whole iron, sure. I think they call it a cartridge, don't they? For the TS100s, they call it a cartridge. Ooh, coax cables. I thought it was tubing for water cooling to be used on the boards. Water cooling on the boards? No. No, they are... They're coax for RF matching for the VNA. My to-do list is way too long. It's pretty crazy. It's out of control. Really struggling to get through everything right now. It's a hot cartridge. Going back, did I miss anything in chat? Remember if they stole it 20 years ago or more? Yeah. So, hindsight's a wonderful thing, right? Like, over the years, I've thrown out so many things that I didn't want anymore that are worth a fortune now, including a stack of retro computing gear. I had, I think, 7 folders of NBA cards. Quite a few sealed in mint condition. I don't remember where those folders went. They disappeared from move to move to move. Hey, Andy Mouse. Just briefly, I'm late. What are they? What are what? What are what? Andy Mouse? Which specific thing we're talking about? What have I been working on all week? I've still been working on mostly on the parts software, as well as Ben says maybe in a box somewhere. No, they're long gone. They're I get what you're saying. Haha. No, they're long gone. They were stored at my sister's place, I think, and I think her whole garage got water damaged and everything got lost. I don't know. Yeah, obviously the Reflow Master Pro been hacking away in MicroPython to try to work out if that's going to be viable or not. But it's mostly been my parts software. And it's getting to the point now where I'm actually using it, or at least I'm putting all my data in. So that's really good. It's taken a while to get to that point. So I'm pretty happy with it. The things at the beginning, the white things, right. Okay, so these are called Pixmob bands. And they're like the Xylo bands. They're RGB LED wristbands that you get given out in concerts that you wear, and then they use IR to talk to them to make them do light shows in the audience. And so I wanted to pull apart one of them to identify what it was, and we worked out that it was a Pixmob. Oh, that's not going to focus, by the way. There's a little board there. It's got an unidentified micro on there. But there's a lot of research online about it once we worked out what it was. There's people who have drawn up schematics and try to work out what it is, and I think there's someone who's potentially reverse engineered the code. So I'm going to have a look during the week and find out if there's any more data about it to see if I can make it do something. Sorry, my nose again. I still have tubs on the floor. I do still have tubs on the floor, but that's actually a storage location in my software. So one of the things that has gone hand in hand with my software is the storage side. And so I have a video coming out either Thursday or Friday, so either probably Friday my time, so Thursday for everyone, on one of the things I'm doing for the storage side to work with not work with the software, but there's no point having the software, being able to put in the software where something is if I can't identify where that place is, if that makes sense, right? Going to build a tower to control your remaining working bands. I don't think I need a tower. I'm pretty sure the space for it is going to be quite small. And I'm not even sure I'll even get that far. I've used some of those semi-rigid cables to make homebrew antennas, never bought a VNA, so they're probably all terrible. The the cables. Yeah, well, there's different types of what they call semi-rigid. So my original ones I got, I thought were semi-rigid, but it turns out it was these ones, which I showed on a different stream. They're much thicker, and these are quite, they're a lot more rigid than these. These are a lot less rigid, so they're easier to shape, to get them in like a position I need, like that, to hold them in place. With these they're much harder to bend. So apparently these are the ones I'm supposed to be using. I was sent a link on whatever stream it was that I showed these, and someone posted a link to what I should be using, and so I found them on Ali, and I couldn't find any locally, so I found them on Ali. They were pretty reasonably priced, so I bought a whole bunch of different sizes, and technically you can just, keep cutting them and keep using them and keep using them. Not that I'm going to need this many of them. So I just bought a whole bunch of different sizes, so I've got them all. Yeah. So it's something I need to get onto. Do you have a location code for it fell off the back of a desk? I don't, because that would not be a place I'd want to have as a permanent storage place, I guess. I could fit it where the broken down light is. Yeah, okay. 2 of them still, remember? 2 lights. See, one down the very end is also out. I'm never going to change them. It's not going to happen. It's never going to happen. I need another coffee. I'm all coffeeed out. I actually finished my coffee this morning. Okay, now I finished my coffee this morning. Can someone order me a latte and bring it in? That'd be great, thanks. I don't think anyone's watching that would do that, but... So, what else? I feel like I've got nothing to talk about now. How crazy is that? I've sound speechless. First time for everything. No, Yaz doesn't serve me coffee. That's okay. So do folks want to see the part software? Like, I feel like I shouldn't be showing it on my stream because it annoyed people last time. But I'm happy to show it if people want to see what I've done. Like, it's not a secret. It's just... It seems that, yeah... there was some annoyed people last time. Any progress with my display shield? The 60 by 180? You talking about that one? Hey, Gavin. Thanks, Zabrowski. Thank you very much. YouTube is easily annoyed. The person who got annoyed, well, it wasn't one person, but that's okay. Okay, let me find it. So it's still not finished, obviously. Oh, the server's not running. 1 second. I need to... Hang on a second. I just gotta spin the server up. I've moved it to my local machine so I could work out of the office. 2 seconds. Okay, so source VN. So I've set up a virtual environment for it. And it is Python manage.py run server. Okay, and the server is up. I hope. And it is. Excellent. So, What have I missed? Is the Tiny Pico in stock now? Yes, Tiny Pico's been in stock for a while. Although I've sold well over half of the second batch I made, the big batch I made. So it's in stock. Tiny Pico's in stock. Shields are in stock. Who asked me about the screen? Was it you, Mike? I've got panels of those screens to build, and I've got all the screens here in a bag, unopened. And yes, I need to get onto that. It's on my list still. As I keep saying, it's a big list. How big is a batch of Tiny Picos? I normally make, at the moment when I make a new batch, I'm making 30, 120 at a time. So that's 1, 2. So yeah, eight panels. Is that 8 panels? 8 panels. I generally build 8 panels at a time. Okay, so let me switch to here. So I don't have a lot of data in here right now. I wonder if copper can be enforced on non-US citizens, only maybe block YouTube access, but the money fine. I'm not sure what you mean. Copper is a yeah, I don't know, Michael, sorry. So this is the software. So the first interesting thing that I've done, let me see if I can make it bigger. There we go. Should be easier to read now. The reason I moved over to Django was so I can have users and logging in and profiles. So that is my profile. So there is now, if I log out, so it's now multi-user, and all the data in the system is fully multi-user aware. So when you register, you email, password, and I've set up a system, organization. So technically I can create an account and I can send one of you an invite to my organization. And when you register, you can join my organization and you can see my data. So which means you can have multiple people working on the same set of data, if that makes sense. You've shut down your personal channel on advice from a lawyer. Why? Why not just mark it as like if you're not making content for kids, just mark it as not for kids. That's all you need to do. I'm not sure why you need to shut it down. Hey, Rob. Anyway, so let me go back to that. Oops, I don't want to register. So if I log back in, oops, got that wrong. Sorry about this. Expectedmaker.com. So obviously having logins is kind of important to make it an online system that people can access and not have to host themselves. So, parts. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that's changed since everyone's seen it. So I'm not going to go through it all, but basically there are now filters. So you can decide if you want to have things all or nothing. So by default, I can have nothing selected for my categories, and then I can just click resistors. And it understands that I've only got chip resistors in, and then I can choose a footprint, and it shows me my footprints. So basically 2 clicks to get to all my resistors of an 0603, or I can show all my footprints. It's all paginated, as you can see, and then all of these headings are sortable. So I can sort, I can just click and change direction. And if I want to look at a particular thing, I can just click on view, and it shows me the details of the particular part. Editing doesn't happen inside this window now. So if I click on edit, it does it down the bottom. It changes the add part to an edit part, and it fills in everything for me. So I can edit things here. I can inline change things. So for this particular, actually this should have Pro S2 and Tiny Pico. So edit the part. So it's updated that part for me. But if I click on this, if I edit it, I can, for instance, add a new project inline. So I don't have to go to the admin screen anymore. So I can just go plus project and a new project and call it Happy Town, add the project, and now you can see that Happy Town has been added into the projects automatically without a page change. It's the same with specifications. Oh, you haven't seen specifications, right? There's so much has changed, it's not funny. But the same with adding different types of categories. I can just click plus and pick what it's for and add them. So let me find some LCSC data. Just hold on one second. So I'm just going to go here. I'm going to go and find, let's go to my orders. So getting data into the system is really simple. Yeah, I just created a thing called Fancy Pants. That's okay. So if I go to, let's go here. So this is one of my orders. So if I want to add parts, check this out. I can just grab the LCSC code, go to add new part, put the LCSC code in, and click the LCSC button. And it just went and grabbed all of the information for that part. It created a category for me, memory, flash, it's SOIC, knows the footprint. It builds a whole bunch of specifications for it. And then I can say, okay, this is for the Pro S2. Yep, everything's fine, and add the part. And now it's added a memory category for me. And so now it's here in the memory category. And then I can say, okay, well, I want to add stock for it, right? So I click view, and right now there's no stock. Oh, where's my add stock button gone? Oh, I broke something. Oh, that sucks. Damn. Okay, I'm not going to be able to show you that today. Why is that add stock button gone? There should be a button here. Let's go to something that's got stock. So it should be, it shows you your stock here in line, and then you can click add stock, and down the bottom I can just I can put the URL for the code in, choose my supplier for the stock, the quantity, let's say it's 100, package type, so is it in a bag, is it loose, real, tape, let's say these are just I don't know, what is it, bag of 30, so I'll add another bag. I can select a location type, so box, drawer, pick and place, reel, shelf, tub. I can add a new location type if I want to, but let's say I choose a tub, and then here I've got a tub called on the floor, right? But I can create a new one, so I've got a tub called on the couch. I can add a location, automatically selects it for me, and then I can add the stock. Oh, and crash. I know what that is. Okay, yeah. That's okay. As I said, it's not ready. I'm still working on it. +1 for Mauser. Let's vote on features and drive Sion crazy. Regex. There's no regex on the floor. Is my incoming area. Yes, I'm scraping using Beautiful Soup, Ian. Sorry, lots of questions going past. I need a custom version of this to track my unfinished projects. Well, you can, because you can create as many projects as you want, right? And then you can assign things to unfinished projects, I guess. But this is still for parts tracking, right? Now, one thing that I'm starting to work on, not working yet, and this code is not going to work, but, hey, David, good morning, is, you can see here, I'm going to have the ability of having QR codes for every stock item. But that is not the QR code for this stock item. This says hello world, I believe, right now, because I'm still working on that feature. But every stock item will have a QR code. Hey Pierre, wow, this is sweet. Are you planning on releasing it to GitHub? Well, I'm planning on releasing it to it'll be a website that people can use. You'll be able to create an account and use it yourself. So I'm not sure how what I'm doing with it. I've completely changed direction to what I was originally working on. I was originally working on a standalone solution just for me with no user login that was designed to be self-hosted if you wanted to use it, and I was going to release it. I've pivoted towards a service, I guess, an online hosted solution that people can create an account on and use, as opposed to hosting it themselves. So I don't know right now what I'm going to do. It's not really. I don't know. Unknown, undecided. It's really not something I'm thinking about, to be honest with you. It's right now I'm focusing on building it and making it super functional and making it easy to use and intuitive to use. It's not about how I know I could put it into a Docker container. Like, I understand I could distribute it that way. I understand that. I'm not sure that that's the direction I want to go, though. If I'm going to release this as a hosted solution, then I'm not sure I'm going to release it as source. So that's the thing, right? Like, I don't believe. I'm not sure it should exist in both ways. Either I'm building something that other people can host and use, or I'm building something that I host and support myself. I'm not sure how the two of them fit together yet. I don't know, as I said. I'm not saying no. I don't know. I haven't. Right now I have nothing to release, so I'm going to keep working on it. I'm going to keep... like, it's got a lot of stuff to do still to finish it for the features that I want. Dockerize in any case, making host scale. Sure, I mean, it's got to be deployable for myself. I mean, but right now it is deployable. It all lives inside a Python, like a virtual environment, like a venv. So it's quite easy to transfer around. With the hosted solution, crowdsourcing the list of LCSE components would be sweet and a time saver. Right, well, that's the thing. Like, having a local repository for all of the parts that are added to the system that people can grab and not have to enter themselves is one of the things that's on my list. And so, avoiding people having to re-enter data all the time for the same parts is very important. But that only works if it's a hosted solution. That doesn't work if it's something that people can deploy themselves, because I can't give them access to that, because that's going to allow people to destroy the data for other people. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions about it. Having a hosted solution is something that I never really wanted to do, because I don't want to have to worry about complying with all of the regulations. Sounds like a copyright case waiting to happen. What's a copyright case? There's no copyright issues. Anything I'm doing here, I don't know what you mean. Bit bestially. So I don't know. I don't even know if I want the headaches of having a hosted service that I need to support, especially a free hosted service, because I don't. I need to make a living. I need to. I need to feed my kids and my family, right? So, supporting free tools is not a really great way of doing that. Here's my organization system. Parts are salvaged from old crap, sorted in drawers. One bucket for parts of the current thing, another bucket for leftovers. Finding the one cap you need. Prices. I think he means storing parts data scraped from third-party websites. No, I don't. That's not a copyright issue at all, because the data is publicly available. None of the websites own the data. Like, if you look at this particular part, let's pick a different part. Let's go to a diode. Let's go to this Schottky diode, right? So no one owns the right to the manufacturer owns the part name, and the description is the description, and the footprint is the footprint, and its specifications are public knowledge. You know what I mean? There's no copyright issue here in any of it. You know, and the fact that I've got the LCSC code available here that I can click on, you know, and go straight to the part. There's nothing illegal about that, right? Not everything publicly available is considered public domain. In terms of data specifications, yeah, it is. Like, it's like images, for instance, no. Like, but, you know, yeah. So if LCSC can list the manufacturer's specifications on their website, and Mouser can list it on their website, and DigiKey can list it on their website, and Element 14 can list it on their website, then there's no issue me listing it on my website, right? So there are APIs available for, you know, Farnell and DigiKey and stuff like, or Mouser and stuff, but they're really limited on their use. The same with Octopart. There's a reason I didn't use Octopart for this is because Octopart have got very strict. Firstly, they charge for the API access, and they have very strict rules on how you use the data, and how you brand all of their stuff on your website. And I'm not interested in doing that. So there will be no Octopart connections, and I doubt very much there's going to be any API access to any of the manufacturers because, again, they've got very strict rules on how the data is shown and how links are used and stuff like that. I'm not interested in doing stuff like that. The data sheet in its aggregate has value and is considered copyrightable. Right, but linking to their data sheet is not a problem. Reproducing their data sheet might be. Potentially storing their data sheet might be, but I don't store their data sheet. LCSC store their data sheet. I'm linking to LCSC's data sheet web link. I don't particularly... That's not a problem. Like, you know, if I click on that web link and a data sheet comes up and it's on Semi's data sheet, that has nothing to do with me or my website. I'm not hosting it. I'm not hosting this data sheet. LCSC are. If they're breaking a law by doing that, that's on them. But I'm just going to a link, right? That link is publicly available. Yeah, you can get data from any of the manufacturers through their APIs, but it costs money. So, and they've got regulations. I think we mean the data set from LCSC. Description of the part in the whole. Well, LCSC don't have a copyright ownership on calling something a resistor or a connector. Like, again, it's all public information. Like, it's all, you know, no one owns the right to a category called capacitors. Does that make sense? Where is LCSC's loss? Yeah, like, I don't know. There's no issue with what I'm doing. You know, whether if I'm scraping their data or I'm on their web page and I'm reading it and I'm typing it in, there's no difference, right? There's no, like, yeah. That's something we need to worry about. So what else can I show you? So yeah, as I said, everything's dynamic. So the specifications are scraped in and then stored against a category type. So if I go now to say, okay, I want to I'm going to add a new diode, and it's a Schottky diode. It automatically shows me the specifications for the Schottky diode. And if I was to add a new specification for Schottky diodes, like if I was to add I know this is really stupid, but I'm going to add a specification called color, right? So there's now a color specification for Schottkys. So now if I go to this particular Schottky, right, it won't show me color because there's no data for it. But if I go to edit, color is now an option for the Schottky. So I can go back and say, okay, this is black, right? Edit the part. And now that Schottky has got a black color specification. So every part type can have custom specifications. Can I get a white one? I don't know. It'd be really cool if I could get white ICs. Would be awesome. The only issue I can think of is the scraping from LCSC may be a violation of their terms of use, and they could block me. They could very well block me just in terms of the amount of times I'm hitting their website right now while I'm testing the system. And if they do, they do. I mean, if at the end of the day, if I can't scrape them anymore, I'll have to manually type the data in. But right now I can just, put a code in, hit LCSC, and I get the data back. So, I mean, they're probably serving, a million pages an hour, at least. I mean, there's no chance that anyone using this system is ever going to hit their website hard enough for LCSC to be troubled by the amount of data coming in, I don't believe. So yeah, anyway, that's how easy it is to go and add parts, which is pretty cool. So I can just go and grab that one, add. It's also Pro S2. I think there might be something wrong with my saving of projects. I might have broken that. So now I've got... So one of the things that Rob mentioned on the stream a couple of weeks ago was the way I was filtering, because I had everything as all, right? So what I've got now is, so these filters are stored, so it remembers next time. So if I go none, it'll always have none as a default. If I say all, then if I go away from that page and come back, it remembers that I've got it set it to all. And then each one of these, so these are categories, right? So if I go none, and if I say show me caps and resistors, right, then it'll only ever show me the categories until I go back to one category type, right? So if I turn off resistors, it now shows me caps. And because there's only one part type inside caps, then it only shows me one option, but it shows me all of the footprints. And again, this has a permanent filter storage, right? So I can have it none, and then I can choose the one I want, or I can by default have them as all, and then remove the ones I don't want, if that makes sense. So if I go to resistors, do I have, let me go, let's see if I can find, go back to a different order, 1 second, because I have some, no, not here. So I'm looking for a particular order. I want to add something in. Here we go. Just to show you how this works. So add part, I'm going to add this one in. Okay, now this is also a resistor, but it's a new category. It's resistor networks and arrays, so it's added a new one here, right? And that is actually on my IO expander and on my Rooflow Master Pro. So I add that in, and now if you look at my resistors, there's now two categories. So it's now showing me filters for here as well. So every type of filtering has its own none and all, which is stored in a database. So this is why we use proxies for scraping. Well, technically I only need to scrape once, right? It's a tiny pico, a scraping botnet, right? I mean, right now I'm scraping multiple times because I'm building the system. If you're automatically scraping the entire LCSC side, then you'd have an issue. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I think it's fine. Like, I've already spoken to them. They know I'm doing it. You know, like I haven't spoken to the CEO of LCSC or however their management works in China. But because I was speaking to them about an API to do it, and they don't have one. So I spoke to them about scraping. And they didn't have a system for me to scrape, but they know I'm scraping. So it's fine, you know, I don't have a problem with it. And neither do they, which is cool. So you'll also be able to view stock this way. So this is all the stock I've got right now. And as you can see, I've got different stock on different locations. I've got a red rack, I've got reels on a red rack and blue racks. This is not sortable yet, but it will be, but it's paginatable. And so this will also have categories. So I'll be able to say, I'll be able to filter and say, what are all my parts on a blue rack, or what are all the parts in my tub on the floor, if that makes sense. Go on the website where people can order their parts from it and bring some profit to yourself and the company. Yeah, I don't know if that, I don't think I want to do something like that, Zibrovsky. That takes the focus away. I don't want people yeah, firstly, I have to build that whole entire system, right? So that means I've got stacks more work to do to make that usable and workable. And then, yeah, doing affiliate type stuff and kickbacks is not really the type of... It's not what I'm interested in doing. So the reason I've pivoted and made this a hostable multi-user system is because... Honestly, it was getting, well, in my opinion, it was getting really good, like really usable, really intuitive, and very different to anything else that's out there. And having it as a system that has to be self-hosted and run by people, and people have to, via Docker containers or whatever. Like, I get that some people can do that, but making that the requirement for people to be able to use it, I felt was a massive bottleneck. I feel like this is something that should be able to use by any maker or small team, and the best way to do that is to have it hosted. Or the easiest way to do that is to have it hosted. The fastest way to market, if that makes sense. So that's what I'm focusing on right now. So projects still here are all my projects, and I'll be able to, again, right now it doesn't work, but you'll be able to add projects from here as well, and you'll be able to click on a project, and like right now it knows how many parts, but right now this isn't doing anything. But you'll be able to open up the project and get a bomb of all your parts for the project. If it was available today, I'd dump all my parts in there. Subscription model incoming. No, I don't want to. I don't think I want to do that. I'm never saying never on anything. Like I said, I haven't decided what I'm doing about Source yet. I haven't said no. I haven't said yes. Monetizing the site, I haven't said no. I haven't said yes. Like I don't know. Right now, my focus is just getting it done. Right. I'm really not thinking about any of that yet. It's the least of my. It's not even on my radar. I just want to get it done, get it usable. And the key for me is to get it, for those that missed it last time I was talking about it, it's all about making it really easy to use and making it work on all platforms. So like again, this whole thing works on a phone or an iPad, right? Like obviously menus are here, but I can go connectors, and here are my connectors. Let's go all. Like here are my parts. Like I know it looks crazy, but this whole thing will work on an iPhone. When will Happy Town be available? Never. So as you can see, it's completely dynamic in terms of what it shows you based on what platform you're using it on. Obviously, it's a bit hard to get anything of relevance here, but if I'm looking for something, right, if I'm looking for a resistor, chip resistor, and it's an 0603, I'm limiting it down. I can see my values here well enough and say, okay, 1.2, that's the one I want. And here are my specs. Like I got to work on this stuff here. But, having it work on a phone or a tablet or a Raspberry Pi screen or a desktop is super important. I wouldn't be comfortable using a hosted system as a permanent inventory. Too many systems vanished because the hoster was bought or just shut down. Too much work to risk. Sure, I get that. And as I said, I don't particularly want to be running and maintaining a hosted system. Like that was something that was really, I was quite against doing that at the start because that's not my focus. Like I don't want to be I'm not a web development company, right? I want to build hardware. This is a tool I'm making for myself right now. But the fact is, this, even though it's got users and stuff, there's no reason why this can't be standalone still. So I'm not developing it in any way that prevents it from being standalone. Dart language with Flutter is the way to go. I don't know what either of those are, but I'm not using either of them. To be honest, LCC are only going to benefit from this, eager to get hold of access to it. Thanks, Rob. It's like I'm working on it as fast as I can, to the point of it's taking up all of my time. Like I'm unfortunately letting a lot of my other project work fall to the side right now because of how much time I'm spending on this. But like, it was only yesterday that I got stock working. I wish I knew what this problem was with the stock though. Why I can't add stock. That's really frustrating. Because I wanted to show you that where this button is. Maybe there's an error. Nope. Yeah, I don't know. I changed something yesterday and I've broken it. But yeah, adding stock is super simple. Yeah, like pretty much like right now you can run the whole system just from this one screen, from the part screen. Like a lot of the other things can probably go. Like, I'm going to simplify it a lot. Mike Swan says, learning it this week. You're learning Dart and Flutter, Mike. Cool. Programming is a time sucker. Like, it's amazing how many hours I've put into this so far. But the fact that it's usable now by me, well, it was until I broke this stock sometime yesterday. But the fact that I can get my stock in here now is really cool. The fact that I've got the fact that I've got all my package types, right, and they're all custom, and location types and location descriptions. I think that's really cool. Like that was the thing that was stopping me from using it. So I'm using it now, but I've got a lot of information to put in here still, and I'm still tweaking. Been listening the whole time, guys, occasionally reading chat, but I have managed to build 2 functioning boards of my excellence project. What did I miss? Awesome. So at least you're doing hardware. I'm not. Yes, lots of time goes into coding that you never see, that you don't see results from, unfortunately. I think hosted service risk is okay as long as there is a generic export functionality so you can regularly back up your data locally in a reusable format. Yeah, getting CSV out of this thing is no issue. Getting your data out, like having an export option on it, makes total sense. What else? So if I'm viewing something, I can't. So like, or if I'm editing this, for instance, then I don't have the ability to view or anything. Like I lock myself out, so I can't get myself in a hole. Like you have to add or cancel. What else? I don't know. It's pretty much it, I guess. I'm sure I've missed some things. But that's where that's up to. Data's Google's programming language. Flutter is a platform where you can build a website that would run as native on iOS and Android with one code. Okay, that's pretty cool. But then it won't run on a Pi, and it won't run in a browser. Have you got the database backend done? Well, the database is evolving, so yeah, it's changing all the time still. Optimizing, tweaking, adding more things, changing things. So no, it's not locked down yet. Same equals SAMD. What? Hardware now, but I messed up the D plus and D minus lines. Oh no. It's a moving goal line right now. So, but once I've locked it off, once I'm 100% convinced it's locked off, then I might give access to some people to alpha test it and see how it goes. If only I could use org mode on my phone. I don't know what org mode is. Like I thought about making this a standalone app rather than a web browser based. It would make it much easier to distribute, but it would make it impossible to do updates and stuff, right? Hey, Embedded Hobbyist, have you missed much? Yeah, we covered a lot of stuff on the stream today. But I'm just showcasing where I'm up to with my parts software, app, website, whatever it's called. Yeah, so there you go. I mean, I'm sure I've missed some things to show, but that's okay. All the admin stuff's still there. Not sure what I'm using dashboard for yet, but we'll work it out. Is writing an app for Android difficult? It's not difficult, it's just terrible. I could host here locally for people to get into it. So you could host what locally? This is, I can make this, I don't need it hosted. This is public facing if I want it to be. It's just not right now. Yeah, people accessing it's not a problem. Right now I'm running off local host, but I've got, yeah, I can make this public. Running here, no issues. So there you go. Yeah, this is all public facing if I want it to. I've still got my Flask version up and running, but this is well beyond my Flask version now. So that's just going to die away with bit rot, I think, over time. Moving to Django was a bit more of a pain than I thought it would be. PWA is the easiest way to do standalone apps. If it doesn't have a dark mode, I'm not using it. That's actually funny because I absolutely prefer dark mode for everything except for websites. I think dark mode on websites, or the ones that I've used, are terrible. Yeah, so right now theming is, or using Bootstrap, so theming is going to be quite difficult. Like I could theme my style sheet component side of it, but yeah, there's no just auto switching of dark mode, unfortunately, for Bootstrap. She's write proof of concept Hello World app for Android. Well, you can. I mean, it's just, yeah. And there are plenty of tools out there that allow you to do, like, you don't have to do native. Like, there are wrappers for writing apps. Theming Bootstrap is easy. Theme switcher. Hey, Monster Mark. Well, yeah, anyway, theming, again, theming's just not on my list right now. I've stuff to worry about. Like, it's, yeah. Like, I'm still very much in prototype land for this. Although it's coming along quite far, but I'm constantly changing things. Like, none of it's locked in stone. Like, I'm trying to be very focused in not being attached to any particular thing I've done. If I can think of a better way of doing something, I'll whip out what I've done and I'll do it again, no problem. So, yeah. That's why it's constantly changing so much, and that's why it's taking so much of my time, because it is improved. Like, I had the stock system working really well, and then I thought that, hang on, I can take all this that I'm doing right now and do it in the same space. Like requiring someone to go to a different screen to manage the stock. Yeah, like I didn't have to do that, so I've moved all that into the part system. So I rewrote everything that I did for stock, I rewrote it all again. Look at Dark Reader, Chrome plugin, works pretty well to set up a dark mode for any sites. Except it's a Chrome plugin, so, yeah. Yeah, just remember though, if you're writing in C# using Xamarin Studio for iOS and Android, then you're not running natively, you're running mono on the device, which is still, it's fine, it's fast, but it's not native, right? So your app is going to not be as performant. It's going to be using garbage collection and stuff like that. So no, there's how does Xamarin work now? Xamarin Studio is free. I believe they have some paid access now for iOS and Android. From memory, I can't remember. They've been saying web apps is going to be the future for ages though, and it's just never happened. So getting everyone to conform to the same standard and then having the web app have access to all the low level system stuff that you need is just, that's the problem, especially on iOS. Yeah, there's, like, as Gavin's saying, things like App Inventor. I mean, there are tools and frameworks out there to allow you to rapidly build app prototypes without having to actually get into proper coding. Oh, it's available for Safari too, is it? Okay. Open in a new window. Let's find out what this dark reader is. So this is dark reader that David pointed to. Dark reader for Safari. Known issues. Extension doesn't work after install or update. Okay. Iframes are not inverted. On some websites, dialog asking for credentials appears. Really? After the update, there is too much sepia. macOS Catalina auto appearance doesn't work correctly. Okay, well, there we go. So, that died very quickly. Too many known issues at the moment. Yeah, I might have a play with it another time. We'll see. If I want to do skinning, I'd want to do proper skinning. But again, it's just not on my radar right now as something that is super important. So, yeah. You didn't say it was perfect. No, I know you didn't. And thank you for pointing it out. It's great. I didn't know it existed. So it's a clever idea. I'll definitely look into it more. Yeah, I just believe that like if the site's going to have proper theming, then it should have proper theming. That's all. So, but it's so low on my radar, it's not funny. We care about parts more than themes. So do I. I think the most interesting thing for me is when I get to it, get all my parts in there, is being able to use the project side and be able to look at not a BOM specifically, but just the parts for my projects. Like I'll do that often right now where I'm looking for, like I'm going to build a IO expander and I'm looking for all the parts and they're all over the place. Like for me, trying to track down an individual part is not going to be as important as tracking down all the parts for a project so I can get them all together. But yeah, I can't do that until the stock system's working properly so I can get all my stock in properly so then I can start viewing them with the projects. So all the hooks are there to do that. But aesthetics before release. Well, aesthetics are always changing, right? So, as is function right now. I have no idea when this is going to be ready. I really don't. I was not expecting to spend anywhere near this much time on it. So I'm spending, as I said, way more time than I planned, and I've got stacks more still to do, and yeah, and lots of things to my what is greater my function. What? Darth Reader. That's funny. Andy Calloway. Who cares about aesthetics? At least it's not running in Access database. Well, I totally care about aesthetics. Not aesthetics as in themes, but aesthetics as in UI and usability. That's why I'm making this. Like, if I didn't care about that, if that wasn't my focus, then I'd be using a different tool that's already out there. So, aesthetics, I'm not talking about the color of something, although that's important, but UI and usability is exactly why I'm doing this. And is exactly why I'm building it completely differently to anything else that's out there. Yeah. On storage location info, how much nesting will you handle? For example, in my case, I would need room to rack, bookcase, etc., tray, box, etc., bin, bag, etc. No, not really that. No, because I don't need that. So I'm not. You'll have a location type. You can have as many as you want, and then you can have a location of that type, as many as you want. So you could put all of that into, like you'd need to fit all that into 2 levels. So you'd have a storage location type that was room to rack, and then in that will be trays and boxes and bins and bags. Yeah. So yeah. Otherwise, yeah, it's yeah. If you need, so like I've been chatting with other people about this on and off like the whole last few weeks, and I keep feeling like if you need something that this system won't do, there's probably already a solution out there that'll do it for you. Like if you need something that's got either functionality or more detail than what this is going to deliver, then yeah, I feel like there are already more complex systems out there right now. I'm trying to simplify it all. My old problem is I have bins that get put back in various trays, boxes, so that level is enough. Sure, I mean that would make it hard for you when you got bins in boxes, in shelves, in rooms. Yeah, maybe this is not going to cut it for you, David. But see, here's the thing. For me to add even one more tier of location management for this, for the 95% of the people that, or 98% of the people that don't need it, like that's the point, right? Like I'm trying to, yeah. Like every decision I make, everything I do in this thing, I think to myself, if I've, not that the way I want to store my stuff is the right way or anything else, or like, don't get me wrong, I'm not judging the way you store things or categorize things, but I feel like if the site needs something more complex than what I'm coming up with, then I feel like maybe the I feel like the requirement is too complex. Especially potentially with my filtering system. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Luke just tweeted his daughter helps him pack Tindy kits. Yeah, he gets the whole family involved. My kids are not interested in helping me pack. Ollie was helping me pack Tiny Picos for a while, but she got very bored very quickly. Well, my storage method is chaos. Right, but it might be what you require. I don't know. Like, I don't know if my storage system solution is going to be good enough. Like, you'll see what I've done for my reels at the end of the week when I've got a video coming out. And I might have hinted at some of that in what I showed on the website. Like I'm trying to optimize the system and I'm trying to optimize my storage solution. Like, I don't want to put boxes in tubs, on shelves, in locations. Like, I feel like that's too complex for me. I'm trying to simplify that as well. Don't know where Mr. Locke is, but even my Cly is pleasing color scheme. Yeah, it's got to be pleasing. That's fine. Like I'm trying to keep, as you can see from the site, I'm trying to keep it quite muted. Like I'm trying to keep it. There's no bright colors. There's green and blue. You know what I mean? There's nothing glarish. Everything's kind of. It's monochrome-y. Obviously colors here, but only when they're needed. Like I'm trying to keep it very muted and out of your face if I can. Yeah, Bootstrap's pretty cool. I'm quite happy with Bootstrap. Thanks, Martin. Yeah. I'm aware of colorblind people. There's a lot more guys with colorblindness than they realize. The percentage is quite high. That's why I'm not using just plain color anywhere. Like even the, active, non-active, I've got ticks inside them. So if you can't see the green here, you can at least see the tick. I'm trying to be really careful with the way I'm displaying information, so it's readable and it's visually there for color. And one problem is how to locate things when I need them. Searching through hundreds of trays for each part takes forever. It's not practical to always put things back in the correct place. Oh, that's the other thing as well, right? I mean, this whole system goes to shit if you put things back in a different place to where you got them out from. Oh, it's pile of stuff colorblind. Okay. I mean, like, I think is it 1 in 5? Like 20%? 20% of males are colorblind. And I don't know what the percentage of those that don't know they're colorblind, but it's massive. Like from I used to know these stats from the gaming side, but like it was something crazy like 60 or 70% of men that are colorblind don't know they're colorblind. And it's a spectrum, right? So like some men, like, you know, confuse like green and red, for instance, only. Well, when you say colorblind, that doesn't mean that you can't see color. It means that you see color differently. Yeah, like and it's a spectrum, so of how diverse that is. But it's amazing how many men don't realize that they're colorblind. 1 in 12 men, 8%, and 1 in 200 women. Is it 1 in 12? I thought it was more than that. I'm pretty sure the stats we used to work with in the gaming space was much higher than that. Maybe it wasn't 1 in 5, but I'm pretty sure it was much more than 1 in 12. And it's interesting that it's more men than women as well. So quite interesting. Pierre, it's a spectrum. It's of color blindness. I can see the black number in the red dotted or green dotted test pics. Right, but do you know that the red is actually red? So that's the thing. So with color blindness, it's not necessarily that you can't see red, is that you see red as a different color. Well, that's one of the symptoms, I guess. Yeah. Some can see colors that we can't. Can people see infrared? I wouldn't mind being able to see infrared. That'd be really cool. If you have access to Canadian TV, there was a program recently on the nature of things called Living Colour, I think. Interesting stuff about colour, perception, and blindness. Interesting. Mad thing, imagine if you had a weird medical condition where your red and green colour sensing codes in your retinas were swapped over. How would you ever know? Well, you wouldn't know, because it'd be normal for you, right? And how do you describe colour? Like if to determine whether you had it right or not, you know, like, or how do you describe a blue sky to someone who's never seen a blue sky? Like, who's, you know, like, how do you describe blue? Yeah, it's a really tricky thing. Michael's got X-ray eyes. Yeah, it's the whole chicken discussion, right? Everything that you can't identify in terms of taste tastes like chicken, right? But what does chicken really taste like? Like, maybe chicken tastes like something else, and when we saying it tastes like chicken, but it's something else, right? Oh, let's not go down that one. Imagination 2 Forms got Betty Davis eyes. Very clever, very good. I think octopuses have seen different colour receptors. Colour seems red. Just if I remove the water from my eyeballs. Yeah, I'll let you do that one first. Thanks, David. Yeah, sounds like an interesting doco. The Matrix. Yeah, I just see code. Okay, well, wow, 2.5 hours. I think it's time to wrap the stream up, folks, before OBS dies. It's behaved itself today. Quite amazing. The Who, Blind Blue Eyes. Never a fan of The Who. Don't tell who? What? What did I miss? Oh, Betty Davis, you got her eyes. Dalek vision. At least I don't have a Dalek voice. Is Betty Davis still alive? I don't think she's still alive. I don't think so, no. Alpha testers. For Patron supporters. I would join just for that. look, when I don't know. Yeah, like obviously, I don't even know when I'm going to hit Alpha 1. Thanks, Adam. Yeah, over 2 hours from OBS and it's behaved itself. But now we've just, yeah. It's going to die now because we've been speaking about it. Look, I'll let people know when I'm getting close to Alpha. And maybe I'll do something with some patrons. I know there's a few patrons I've got that are quite eager to get onto this system and have a bit of a play. But I have a lot of work still to do. But I'm getting there, as you can see, lots of progress, and I'm definitely getting there. And it needs a lot of usability testing, a lot, and bug testing. But even if I release an alpha, the deal will be that the data could go. Like anytime during the alpha, your data, you could lose your data, right? I may have to stomp. That's the whole point of being an alpha, and that frustrates a lot of people. Thanks very much. Always great to watch your channel, learn new things, interact with people. Thanks very much, Zabrowski, and thanks very much for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Alpha always breaks. That's okay. But I wanted to get it as stable as I can before I do that. Like, I'd prefer not to break people's data once they've spent time adding it. But, sorry, there was a little insect. But but if I have to, I will. Anyway. Okay. Let's wrap it up, folks. I'm going to go get myself another coffee. Or I might go to bed. One of the two. Or code. I'll be leaving when you close down. You'll be leaving. Where are you going? Where are you going, Michael? Probable and import-export before. Probably not for the alpha, Pierre, because I can't guarantee that your import will work. If I have to kill data, it's because I need to change something in the database. So I can change the database live without breaking people's data. Sometimes I can migrate my changes, but sometimes I can't. So if it was a breaking change where data gets lost, the chances are an import won't work anymore. So just, yeah. So there's probably no point doing that for the alpha. Okay. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Thanks for your feedback and nice words about the site, and for your help in tracking down what this was. Very cool. I'd like to get onto playing with them at some point. Have a good week. Looking forward to more content, and start saving for some tiny picos. Awesome. And wait for my video on Friday. It's pretty cool. Well, I think it was cool. I like it. You might not. We'll see. Oh, Dustin Watts, you still awake? Bye, everyone. Thank you, and I will catch you all next week. Have a fantastic week, everyone, and have a good night's sleep for those going to sleep now. Okay? Except, where's the new off button? There's no new stop button on their YouTube's website. Great. Oh well, let's try to work out how I stop this thing. Drink coffee in bed while coding. Sounds like a good life. Probably not. I'll probably spill my coffee all over the place. Okay. Top right. Live stream settings. No. No, there's no... Alt F4. No, there's no stop button. Interesting. Oh, I can't believe YouTube's forced me to use this software. Anyway, I'm just going to stop OBS and see what happens. Bye, everyone. Catch you later. Have a great week. Streaming forever. No. Bye.